What many people didn't know, of course, is that Lucifer Star, I owned Pinkerton. Pinkerton Security and Pinkerton Investigations. Well, I owned them. They were my people, my group, and I was managing my planet and checking out people and doing stuff through Pinkerton back in the past. It was my company and LS, another LS subsidiary. Like I said, there's a name that you will hear a lot, which is LS. LS. Or basically another LS subsidiary. Um, Not one name, but two. Lucifer Star. So anyway, yes, LS. It's Ellis or Ellis's people. Pinkerton was a subsidiary of LS company, which is me, Ellis, Lucifer Star. So anyway, yes, I owned Pinkerton. I owned a lot of things as I supplied them with horses, guns, and other things, but mostly pretty much my star people with my star badges and white star lines, but which was basically another LS company. Basically, I had lots of companies pretty much, and just investigating and all that other stuff. And they would eventually figure out or realize that basically everyone pretty much works for me in one way or another. And basically, anyway, it's okay. It's not that I don't pitch sides against sides or anything like that. Just trying to figure out what the hell was going on and managing the world without a without an internet or any kind of real postal service where people can just post fake news and even tell fake stories, and trying to figure out what the truth was so we can basically keep civilization moving forward and not backwards into basically disarray and basically total chaos. So anyway, but yes, Pinkerton was one of my was one of my investigation and security forces. And basically, they really didn't do all that much other than investigate, basically. But they did have guns and stuff like that, so they could investigate and do stuff. Mostly just reporters and investigators, checking things out, finding out what was going on in towns and stuff like that. But and that's probably why there was quite a few Irish people always around with all these groups, because my Irish workers. And I usually upgraded, I'd always promote from within or promote people that I had trusted. If I had worked with a group for a long time and I trusted them, then I basically would keep it going. And usually, a good father teaches a good son how to act and how to be respectful of those others that had employed them and kept them alive throughout the years. And like I say, also providing bulletproof vests and other things that would basically be the protectors of pretty much civilization. So anyway, Pinkerton was one of my companies, and I believe they were always honest and just and all that other stuff. But basically, most of my groups that were real, they had food on the table, they had money in their pocket, and they had guns and ammo, and basically they were provided with horses and stuff like that. I had over 5,500 horses at one point in time, or 55,000 or 120,000 horses at one point in time, basically that were pretty much, I had so many horses, I actually had to set up a couple different towns just to deal with all my horses, because sometimes a sickness or a plague or something like that would sweep through horses. There are horses viruses, by the way. There are viruses that only attack horses, that get only horses sick. And there was even an epidemic among horses not too long ago, a couple of thousand or a couple hundred years ago, where my horses were getting sick and dying, and it was very bad, and we were very much in a bad way, and we had to solve and give them antibiotics and get the horse diseases taken out. But anyway, but they were killing off my horses, and it was very sad and very horrible, as a couple thousand horses died from the sickness. But anyway, though. And I'm not sure what it was, Ebola or some sort of virus. I don't know. There are viruses that would kill horses and rider too, and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure. I just know I lost about 5,000 horses to it or something like that. But we stopped the epidemic, and basically the horses lived. So anyway, though, but yes. Pinkerton and other security forces, but star badges basically, and that's why I had the badges, because those badges meant Lucifer Star. So everybody knew that, well, you work for a Lucifer Star person, and that's also why we later on had IDs at the bottom of it, as anyone could basically print a star badge And, and you don't know if that's really a star employee or if that's just someone who got enough gold together to make a star badge or something like that. And that's why they were also kind of ornate, and they also had a number at the bottom, a number that would cross-reference to a city where all the records for all the different employees of Lucifer Star were kept. So, as my people. So anyway, and that's also why later on you can call up a sheriff's department or police department to ask about a badge number to confirm whether or not the police officer that's talking to you is actually an employee or just someone with a badge and a uniform. As there are people out there which drive around in police cars and wear uniforms and even have badges that look very, very legitimate, but once one phone call and you find out, wait a minute, they're not really a police department or a police officer. They're just some guy wearing a badge and a uniform driving a car. And that's why it is a felony and basically a long sentence if you are caught driving a police car in a uniform with a badge, the fake badge, as usually those kinds of people rob people or charge people or harass people or do something illegal and very bad that dishonors the whole police department. So anyway, it used to be more of a problem, but nowadays it's not so much of a problem, but who knows. Anyway, but yes, it does happen. But that's why we have verification systems as well as other things like the computer that are tied in and everything else. But, it gets complicated and hard, but it's also somewhat of an honor system as, Anyway, though, but that's why I had internal affairs and all kinds of other stuff that were also being paid by the taxes to make sure that all the police officers are doing the job that they're supposed to be doing and not raping little Susie, the young little girl down the street that can't scream loud enough to call for help, So anyway, that kinds of things, or basically harassing some poor black person down the street that doesn't have anyone to help him. So basically, and that's what our internal affairs is supposed to be doing. Anyway, and also not harassing me, of course, as I am Lucifer Star. So anyway, yeah, it gets all complicated and everything else. And basically, a lot of people have to deal with the fact, a lot of police officers and a lot of other people like Rick Bush and Rodney Bradley, and a lot of other people eventually have to deal with the fact that I am Lucifer Star, the creator and the owner of the White Star Lines and everything else, and basically pretty much the creator of 12 races, and they get to deal with the fact that they've been harassing me. And well, whatever. And tried to even have me killed at one point in time or kidnapped or whatever. So anyway, and well, I don't really care, realistically my life forms really cared about me more than I cared about myself, as it's just like, whatever. It's been 90 trillion years and I just don't give a fuck anymore. So anyway, but yeah, basically, pretty much I was the backbone of civilizations, and I was epic civilization builder of 140 planets or 400 planets or more planets. Basically, the #1 civilization builder throughout the galaxy and universe. So, anyway, quite a distinguished record I have. So anyway, as I am Lucifer Star, and we have thousands or millions of years of basically civilization underneath our belt, pretty much, and I've been doing quite well based on my system civilizations and whatever. So anyway, yeah, whatever. So anyway, but that's what it's all about. So anyway, yeah, no one's probably ever going to watch these videos or even care the fact that I'm basically, well, I don't like to use the term God. I never did. I am Lucifer Star, LS, and basically the one who has invented everything and helps you with everything and always been there for you with inventions and other things and lots of money, as I did love you very much. So anyway, and I do not just protect, what's it called? I do not just protect one group. I also supply help to other groups. Like, for instance, I helped the Israelites or somebody in the Middle East as they were being hunted down by some group or whatever, and gave them aircraft. And they did fight for their freedom and even get their freedom from somebody else. I'm not exactly sure. But the IRAF helped them with that, basically. And that's why they were helping each other. Anyway, it gets all complicated and confusing. But basically for peace and freedom, I hope. So anyway, and just protecting people. So anyway, it gets all complicated as there are drugs and everything else. And, I'm just tired. I used to know everything and used to worry about it and all that other stuff and deal with it. But now I'm retired, and it's up to the younger generation to hold down the fort and make sure. Personally, I I just don't care anymore. But I'm the person most likely to die from my own inventions, as I invented guns and other things.